Bruce sees it all.
Hi, welcome everyone. Copernicus crater on the moon. The diameter is 93 kilometers of this crater. It's facing Earth, and it's a crater that's very common and mostly, I repeat, mostly spoken about by both professionals and amateurs. How long can a volcano shed ejecta in a straight line over high elevated mountainous regions? This line that you're looking at of Copernicus crater with a water spot or blue, mysterious blue spot, either blue dome, see-through dome, that's been spoken about for actually many years on the moon. So this is without any filters, zoomed up, no pixelation, of course. Any kindergarten student can learn that, maybe grade 1, right? But that line, all around it, has other structuring. And it looks like that line is running through those structures. We hear now, as of last year, I think they started talking about the line cities, building line cities, right? Saudi Arabia already started the construction, by the way. Doesn't sound like the plan's going to go through, but they're still trying to attempt this plan, this line city that would house almost 10 million people in the desert. It would salinate the water, right? Salination process to be able to bring water to that region. Obviously, it's very dry, but this line that you're looking at is at the bottom of Copernicus crater. So if there were people in that, we're talking 93 kilometers, right? The crater. They're talking about 170 kilometers in Saudi Arabia to house 10 million people. So if people are in that line or transportation or whatnot, how many people could be on the moon? Those lines, I believe, were not formed by ejecta or volcanoes. If there were people on the moon, we would see much more than just structures. You know, people can say, well, if there's structures there and there's no activity, it could be ancient civilizations, maybe ancient aliens a long time ago that could have been on the moon. But when we see the activity on the moon with my own eyes and visual proof, and we also have the confirmation from the defense in the States, the Pentagon, CIA, FBI, you name it, they say that the moon is desolate. So does NASA, so do the astronauts, except for the astronauts that actually spoke out about parts of the truth. Also, seeing lights on the moon is not too impressive, but when you see the characteristics of what they are actually doing, like this light producing another light beside it, literally coming directly from it. Watch the line over top of this light appear, a dark line. You'll see it there. And there, that dark line was another light appearing beside it or coming from this actual UFO on the moon. I came to the reality, a reality check, right? That I was able to get more than what all the governments around the entire world have ever showed in video to the public about UFOs. Lots more. None of this is mentioned by any government. Doesn't that scare you a little bit? On the moon, Aristarchus crater, we see a lot of movement around certain craters. Inside of this big crater of Aristarchus, smaller craters, so they call them craters. But when you zoom up, and of course bring the exposure down and slow down the footage quite enough, just enough actually to see. That's right, if you already see it, those lights are moving. There are lines on the surface where lights under hazes on those lines are traveling across the surface. Let's speed it up a little bit more for you to see the movement. As if it wasn't amazing enough that lights were appearing on the surface that were not being caused by the sun, but they're moving. Look carefully. That's right, they're moving on the surface, along the surface, facing Earth. All I'm going to say is if you're new to this channel and you're looking for real UFO evidence on the moon and not just bullshit pixelation like 99.999% of the people are showing, I'm not going to hide it. You all know You've seen UFO videos before. Aside from the ones in Brazil that are really nice that all the channels are sharing, that nobody knows where the hell these UFOs are from, what time they were filmed, who filmed them, were they ever filmed again. Often UFOs show up once and they wind up as data. The Pentagon will tell you that themselves. Is this an explosion? You could be sure there is. There's a reaction with the surface or in the atmosphere of the moon with that light when it approaches that little puff of light there on the bottom. And you can see yet again splitting in two, creating another light on the surface. Lots of areas on the surface that also have structures. Right here beside that crater, you can see that there are almost hundreds of aligned objects side by side that are all interconnected, whether they be pods where people are living. As a matter of fact, go look to see what NASA is building as structuring that's supposed to be tested on the moon. It looks exactly like what we're looking at here, but don't forget, we're always looking at this surface from a further distance. I've seen them come by in groups, some of these UFOs, and again, all completely different. And it's not hard to see that there are some different objects there, but what's hard is to differentiate the exact shape and forms. If I was showing you straight up real spaceship objects with little bonhams hanging out the windows and buildings on the surface and roads, and if it was so clear, and if I was able to show it in a clearer way, I don't think people would actually believe me. There is atmospheric disturbances on the moon, especially between two friggin' celestial objects, obviously. Scientists have said it themselves. We see pictures of asteroids by NASA. They're all blurry. And it's taken with James Webb. People have to understand that clouds is quite simply what is stopping us and what is stopping, I guess, the rest of the world from believing that there actually is an intelligent being on the surface of the moon. I'm not here to prove there's an intelligent being. I'm here to prove that someone is on the moon. But when I started this channel, I didn't start it wanting to prove this. I found these things, therefore, I started sharing them. And I was able, with the help of the community and with Big Mama, 14-inch telescope, able to see incredible signs of what I've been saying for 6 years. People on the moon, when they look back at Earth, as I'm observing this over my house, two UFOs face to face that meet up and create an incredible light in the sky. Could that be what I am looking at on the moon? That all the phenomena, UFOs around the moon, maybe the people living on the moon, the same things are happening there as here, as above as below. Maybe humans are up there working with aliens. Pretty sure humans are here working with aliens. This is an infrared camera. And you could see the two lights meeting up in the sky. This is one of the only captures of this type of event that I've captured. It would wind up in data if the government had seen it. Watch this. The lights are going to meet up, straight up, and you're going to see an instant glare in the sky, which, by the way, I did not see that glare with the naked eye. It was with the infrared camera. I was looking through the camera when it happened, but in the sky, I did not see a bright flash. I saw a reaction, a little flash, yes, but not as big as you're seeing it here because we're looking with the infrared camera. But there's an interaction with UFOs in the sky, and this is straight up after the Pentagon themselves, the defense, the media, all around the world are saying that the Pentagon does not know if these lights are a foreign or adversarial country or possibly alien. A week ago, news media again said that possibility of alien beings being flying around our planet. Watch this one fly away in the center and split into two bright lights instead of going left to right on the screen. I slowed it down and you see it getting further away, getting smaller, and watch what happens at the end here. I've shown this a couple of months ago. Watch this. Boom. Woo, two lights. If you're wondering why I'm re-showing it again, it's because I'm studying it again. This is all my research, and everything that happens, I record it, and I try to understand it. I gather ideas from my community, and of course, when it's a rainy day, Got lots of work, lots of stuff that we can look at. Here it is again, going to split in two one last time. We'll check it out, slow it down right straight to this possibility of frame movement, and almost there. It's going to fizz out, almost fizzes out, almost, we're almost there, getting smaller, bigger and smaller. Oop, almost disappeared, but right before the last frame, watch what happens. 2 lights. Do you have any idea how long it took me to be able to see that? It would be a lot of interest from the public if they knew that I was getting all these videos and actually showing UFOs leaving the bloody surface. This was just at the end in December of 2022. Watch the activity this summer, my friends. It's coming up. Real quickly before I end the video, we know that there's a lot going on in the sun, and we heard quite a while back that they were talking about wanting to block out the sun. And here we can see in the report. The White House is pushing ahead research to cool Earth by reflecting back sunlight. After they warned us about this, we had just heard about Bill Gates talking about the space drones and bubbles that will be placed between the sun and Earth to reflect back sunlight. Then a lot of controversy around that came up. People were saying it's not true, they're not going to do this. Why do people do that when the government themselves admit to everything they're doing? It's not about that they're hiding information. I think it's about people just denying reality or truth, right? Each of us live in our own realities. That's a fact. But after that, the weather started getting crazy. I'd like to thank everyone for the generous help, the contributions, just quite simply stopping by the channel. Karen Fitzpatrick, Michael Wilson, thank you so much, you guys. So Karen Fitzpatrick, beautiful message. Bruce, I enjoy your work. Wish it could be more. Are you kidding? It is plenty. Sending good thoughts your way. I thank you so much. Michael Wilson, keep up the good work. He says, continue to stick to the thrush. Yes, I think it's unfair that you don't have more followers. I love you guys. The words, the support, enthusiasm. I thank you all so very much for encouraging me on this channel. And thanks especially for coming back.